Baby, when the night spreads its calm blanket across the sky, when the streets outside grow still and the hum of the world finally rests, I find myself wide awake with 1,000 unspoken words caught inside me. It is in those late hours, when silence feels heavier than sound, that my heart beats the loudest. Baby, there is something I want from you at night, something that lives deep within me, but I am so afraid to ask. Not because it is forbidden, not because it is wrong, but because it is vulnerable. Because it demands that I step out of the safety of silence and let you see the most fragile corners of my soul. Baby, I imagine those moments when we are lying side by side, the air soft, the weight of the day finally behind us. The night has a way of removing distractions, of stripping away pretenses, until it is just us, raw and unguarded. And in that stillness, I feel the ache to reach for your hand, to whisper the words that keep me restless. Baby, I don't just want your presence. I want your heart in its truest form. I don't just want your closeness. I want your truth, your hidden thoughts, your silent prayers. What I want from you is not loud, not dramatic, but a surrender so soft it feels like eternity breathing through us. Baby, I long for a connection that is unshakable, one that no distance or fear can erase. I want you to let me inside the parts of you no one else has touched. Not your skin, but your silence. Not your surface, but your depths. At night, when the world can no longer see us, I crave that we see each other fully. I want to know your fears, your regrets, your hopes, the little pieces of your soul that you have kept hidden even from yourself. And yet, baby, I tremble, because what if you turn away? What if my longing is too much? Fear is a cruel companion. It visits me in the hours before dawn, whispering that silence is safer. It tells me that keeping these desires hidden protects me from rejection. But baby, silence is also suffocating. It builds walls where there should be windows. It creates distance where there should be closeness. And so, each night, I fight the battle between my longing to be honest and my terror of what honesty might cost. Baby, the truth is simple. I want you to hold me in a way that speaks louder than words. I want your hand to find mine in the dark and tell me that I am not alone. I want your voice, low and steady, to remind me that no secret could scare you away. I want the night to be the place where we meet not just as lovers, but as souls, two spirits bearing everything in the safety of each other's presence. That is what I want from you at night, baby. Not performance, not perfection, but presence. The kind that heals, the kind that transforms, the kind that makes the night holy. Baby, sometimes I imagine how it would feel to finally speak the words aloud, to turn toward you, trembling but determined, and say, there is something I need from you, and it is not what the world assumes. I need your honesty. I need your trust. I need the version of you that exists when no one else is watching. And in that vision, you do not laugh, you do not turn away. Instead, you listen, you hold me tighter, you make the silence safe again. And I realize, baby, that maybe the thing I fear asking for is the very thing you are already willing to give. But fear has built its roots deep inside me. It reminds me of every time vulnerability has been met with rejection. It echoes the voices of the past that said, you are too much. Your love is too heavy. Your need is too intense. And so, even as I lie next to you, Even as the night gives me 1,000 chances to speak, I remain quiet, whispering my confessions only to the ceiling, hoping somehow you can hear them in the rhythm of my breath. Baby, I want to tell you everything. I want to confess the dreams that visit me when I close my eyes, the visions of us standing stronger, braver, more open than we have ever been. I want to describe the way my soul sees yours, not just as a partner, but as a mirror of heaven's promise. But I stop myself, because some part of me wonders if reality could ever live up to the dream. What if my honesty breaks what we already have? What if my truth is too fragile to survive the weight of being spoken? And yet, baby, there is another voice inside me, quieter but stronger, that tells me love cannot thrive in silence. It reminds me that what is built on truth cannot be destroyed by confession. It whispers that you are not here to reject me, but to see me. Not here to abandon me, but to walk with me through every valley of fear. And in those moments I dare to hope that maybe, just maybe, you are waiting for me to ask. Maybe you are longing for me to open the door so we can both step into a deeper kind of closeness. Baby, when I picture the future, I don't see grand stages or public declarations. I see the two of us in the quiet of night, lying close, speaking truths we have hidden for too long. I see the kind of honesty that brings tears, not of sorrow, but of release. I see the moment when we realize that nothing is too much when love is real, that nothing is too heavy when two hearts are carrying it together. That is what I want from you, baby. The night, the truth, the courage to meet me in the silence and let us both be unafraid. If this midnight confession speaks to your soul, type in the comments, I am ready to be seen. Baby, the night has always carried a strange kind of truth. In the light of day, we wear our masks, we move through responsibilities, we play roles that others expect of us. But when the world grows quiet and darkness spreads across the sky, the masks begin to slip. The silence asks questions we cannot avoid, and the soul begins to answer in whispers. Baby, that is when I feel it the most. The pull inside me to reach for you, to say what has been heavy on my heart for far too long, and yet, every time, fear rises like a wall between us. Baby, I lie awake in that stillness not because I do not trust you, but because I am afraid of myself. I am afraid of the way my love runs deeper than words, afraid that my longing might sound like too much. I am afraid that if I reveal the hidden chambers of my heart, you might step back, uncertain of the weight I place in your hands. But baby, what I want at night is not complicated. It is the kind of closeness that only truth can bring. It is the freedom to unfold every fragile part of myself without the fear that you will turn away. Baby, I have carried so many unspoken dreams. Some of them are small. The dream of hearing your voice promise me that we are unbreakable. The dream of your hand steadying me when my doubts grow loud. Some of them are vast. The dream of a life where we walk into destiny together, where every night becomes a sanctuary for honesty, every morning a new beginning. And in all of those dreams, baby, you are my anchor, the place where my restless heart finally rests. But fear has a way of rewriting even the truest longings. It whispers that silence is safer. It tells me that if I stay quiet, I will not lose what we already have. And yet, baby, that silence eats away at me. It turns the sweetness of night into a battlefield where my heart and my fear wage war. And every night, I lose a little more of myself to the words I do not speak. Baby, what I want from you when the night surrounds us is simple but sacred. I want your listening heart, your patient silence, your quiet strength. I want to be brave enough to turn toward you and say, baby, I need to know that I can be fully myself here. I need to know that every hidden thought, every trembling confession will not drive you away, but will draw you closer. That is what I am scared to ask, baby, that I am enough, even when I am unguarded, even when I am raw. Baby, there are times I watch you breathe beside me, steady, calm, unaware of the storm inside me. I wonder if you sense it, the way my spirit reaches for you, the way my silence is louder than my words. I wonder if you ever feel that same pull to confess, to reveal the unspoken, to let me see the parts of you the world has never touched. Maybe we are both waiting. Maybe we are both afraid, and maybe the night keeps us silent, not because we have nothing to say, but because the truth we carry feels too sacred to risk. Baby, love is not just about laughter in the day. It is about courage in the night. It is about the willingness to be seen in the dark when the lights are gone and all that remains is the bare soul. That is the intimacy I want, baby. The kind that is not measured by closeness of bodies, but by the closeness of hearts. The kind that dares to break silence with honesty. The kind that heals by revealing what was once hidden. If you believe true love is built in the silence of the night, type in the comments, I choose honesty over fear. Baby, the night has a way of uncovering what the day hides. In the light of morning, it is easy to smile, to laugh, to act as though the world is not heavy. But when the sun goes down and silence becomes louder than sound, the truths we avoid come to the surface. That is when my chest feels tight with words I've swallowed for too long. Baby, lying beside you, I feel the weight of what I want to say pressing harder against my heart. There is something I long for, something so sacred that I hesitate to even give it language. It is not about possession, not about demand, not about control. It is about surrender. It is about letting you see me, fully, completely, vulnerably, in the quiet of night, without mask or armor. Baby, my fear has always been that if I speak too much of my longing, I will lose you, that my confessions will sound too heavy, too overwhelming, too much for one heart to hold. But silence is not peace. It is a slow breaking. Every time I keep the truth inside, another piece of me fractures. And every time I turn away from honesty, the distance between us grows, even when our bodies lie close. Baby, what I want from you at night is not your perfection. It is your permission to be myself without apology. Permission to show you the scars and not just the smiles. Permission to whisper my doubts without fearing that you will see me as weak. Baby, closeness is not about how tightly arms can wrap around one another. It is about how deeply souls can recognize each other in the dark. It is about knowing that even if I reveal the trembling parts of me, you will not flinch. It is about discovering that love does not run away from brokenness, but runs toward it. That is what I want from you in those sacred midnight hours. To feel that no part of me is too fragile to be held, no confession too strange to be heard, no truth too heavy to be carried together, but upon every part of you, carefully to be heard, and the clisp mixed equally. I wonder, baby, If you ever feel the same pull, if you ever lie awake with words you are too afraid to say, if you ever find yourself rehearsing confessions in your mind, only to bury them again in silence, maybe we are mirrors of one another, both longing to speak, both waiting for the other to go first. Maybe the night holds not just my unspoken prayers, but yours too. And maybe what keeps us silent is not a lack of love, but the terrifying possibility that the truth will change everything. But baby, truth is the only soil where love can grow. Lies may keep us comfortable for a time. Silence may give the illusion of peace, but only truth can anchor us through storms. Only honesty can transform the night into sanctuary. And so, though my heart trembles, though fear whispers that I should remain quiet, another voice rises within me. It is softer but stronger, quieter but truer. It tells me that what I am longing to ask of you is not too much. It tells me that what I want to share is not a threat, but a gift. Baby, what I want from you when the stars are watching is not just your body beside mine. It is your spirit open to mine. It is your willingness to meet me in the silence and hear the words I cannot speak easily. It is your courage to take my hand when I confess the things I have never told anyone else. What I want is the freedom to fall apart in your presence and know that you will not leave. To speak of fears I carry, of wounds I still nurse, of dreams that frighten me with their sighs, and to know that your love will not shrink back. Baby, every night I imagine what it would feel like if I finally dared. If I turned to you in the quiet and spoke the words my soul aches to release. I need you to see me. I need you to know me. I need you to remind me that even when I am trembling, I am still worthy of love. And in my imagination, you do not reject me. You do not pull away. You hold my gaze, you steady my heart. You whisper back that my honesty only makes us stronger. And baby, if that dream could become reality, then maybe all my fears would finally lose their power. Baby, love is not proven in the grand gestures people post about. It is proven in the unseen moments, in the nights where two hearts lie side by side and choose to speak instead of remain silent. It is proven in the courage to share even the things that feel too small or too strange. It is proven in the steady presence that says, I am not leaving, even when the truth is heavy. That you will stay, that you will not see my honesty as weakness, but as trust. That you will take what I give and hold it with reverence. Baby, the night is long, but love is longer. Fear is loud, but truth is stronger. And though I am scared to ask, I believe there will come a night when I will finally find the courage, when my trembling will turn to speaking, when my silence will break into confession, and when your love will answer me with a strength I never knew I could lean on. That is the vision that keeps me alive in the quiet hours. That is the hope I carry into every new dawn. If you feel the weight of this confession, type in the comments, I am ready to share my truth. Baby, the silence of the night is a teacher. It strips away the noise of the world, it removes the distractions, and it leaves us with nothing but our breathing and our thoughts. In that stillness, I feel the presence of everything I have ever wanted to tell you. The words live in me like fire, burning for release, but fear holds me in chains. Baby, I want to ask you for something sacred, something simple yet profound, but my tongue trembles at the thought. It is not about possession, not about control, not about demand. It is about surrender. It is about the courage to be seen completely, without fear, without shame, without armor. Baby, when we lie side by side, I often wonder if you can hear the sound of my heart speaking in the dark. Does the rhythm of my silence reach you? Does the weight of my unspoken longing touch your soul the way your nearness touches mine? I imagine turning toward you, not with rehearsed words, but with raw honesty and confessing, baby, I need you to meet me where I am most afraid. I need you to hold me when I can no longer hold myself. I need you to tell me that even in my trembling, I am not too much. Baby, what I want from you at night is not what the world assumes. It is not a fleeting desire. It is not an act to be performed. It is the holy ground of intimacy that only truth can bring. I want your patience, your listening heart, your steady presence that says, I see you, and I am not leaving. Because love is not proven in moments of ease, it is proven in the courage to stay when the truth feels heavy. And baby, that is what I ache for. The assurance that my honesty will not drive you away, but will draw you closer. Fear, however, has always been my shadow. It whispers that I am safer in silence, that if I keep my desires hidden, I will not lose what we already have. But baby, silence is not safety. It is slow suffocation. Every night I do not speak, a piece of me breaks quietly inside. Every moment I bury the truth. I build walls where windows should be. And still, I dream of the night when I will finally be brave enough to ask, brave enough to reveal, brave enough to step into the light of your acceptance. Baby, do you ever feel the same? Do you ever lie awake, rehearsing words you cannot say, wondering if I would still love you after hearing them? I believe you do. I believe the silence holds not only my confessions, but yours too. Perhaps we are both waiting, both trembling, both afraid that honesty will change everything. But baby, love was never meant to be built on fear. Love was meant to be built on truth, and truth, no matter how heavy, will always set us free. Baby, when I think of us, I do not dream of grand performances. I dream of the stillness before sleep, when the world has grown quiet and our souls are free to speak. I dream of whispers that heal, of confessions that bring tears, not of sorrow but of release. I dream of the courage to say, this is who I am, all of me, without pretense, and the courage to hear you say, and I love you still. That is what I want from you, baby. Not perfection, not answers, not performance, just presence. Just the sacred nearness of two hearts that refuse to hide from one another. Just the courage to be seen and the promise to stay even when the truths are heavy. If you believe love is strongest in the silence of the night, type in the comments, I will not hide anymore. Baby. The night stretches wide like an endless ocean, waves of silence rolling over every sound of the day, leaving me face to face with the only voice I cannot escape, my own. In that stillness, when the world is finally quiet and nothing remains but the rhythm of your breathing near me, I am reminded again of the weight that presses on my chest. There is something I want from you at night, baby. Something that cannot be measured by anything the world values. Something too sacred to reduce to shallow desires. It is the longing to be seen as I truly am, to bring every trembling truth out of the shadows and place it gently into your hands, trusting that you will not let it fall, It is the yearning to know that when I strip away every layer I have used to hide, I will still be loved, not less, but more, not partially, but fully, not temporarily, but eternally. Baby, in the daylight, I can pretend, I can smile, I can laugh, I can hold myself together in the eyes of the world. But the night has no tolerance for pretense. The stillness before sleep is like a mirror that cannot be fooled. It shows me who I am, fragile, hopeful, fearful, longing, and it shows me what I carry inside. Words unsaid, dreams unspoken, fears unshared. It is in that sacred quiet, lying beside you, that my spirit whispers with an urgency that frightens me. It says, speak, reveal, trust, but then fear rises like a wall and reminds me of every time I opened my heart and was met with silence or rejection. Baby, that fear is what chains me still. I rehearse my confessions in my mind, but they rarely reach my lips. I dream of pouring myself out before you, but when the moment comes, I remain silent, praying that somehow you will hear what I cannot say. Baby, I want you to know that what I seek in the night is not the kind of intimacy the world talks about. It is not a performance, not a fleeting spark, not something that fades with the morning light. It is a connection of souls, a covenant of honesty, a nearness that goes beyond body into spirit. It is the courage to confess doubts without fear, the freedom to reveal scars without shame, the assurance that nothing hidden in me will ever make you turn away. That is what I am scared to ask, baby. Not because you cannot give it, but because my own fear keeps me chained. I am terrified of being too much, of overwhelming you, of asking for a depth of closeness that few hearts can handle. But even in my trembling, I know this truth. Without honesty, love suffocates. Without truth, intimacy dies. Without courage, we are only shadows of what we could become. Baby, sometimes I imagine the moment with such clarity it feels like memory, though it has never happened. We are lying close, the world hushed, and I finally gather the courage that fear has stolen. I turn to you, eyes filled with everything I have hidden, and I whisper, baby, I need you to know me. Not the mask, not the role, not the version the world applauds. I need you to see the parts of me that tremble, the dreams I have buried, the fears I am ashamed to confess. And in that vision, baby, you do not pull back, you do not look away. You take my hand in yours, firm and steady, and you whisper back, you are safe with me. That is the picture that keeps me alive in the silence, the dream that fuels me when fear threatens to smother my voice. Baby, the truth is this. Every night I stay silent, I lose something. I lose the chance to build us stronger. I lose the chance to make the night a sanctuary instead of a prison. I lose the chance to let love deepen through honesty. And yet, even in my silence, the longing does not die. It grows. It pushes against the walls I build. It burns in my chest. It calls me to rise. It tells me that love was never meant to hide, that if it is real, it can hold the truth, no matter how heavy. And baby, that is the truth I want to live in, the kind of love that does not shrink from honesty, but is strengthened by it. Baby, I wonder if you feel it too. I see it sometimes in your eyes, the way you look at me as though you are holding words you cannot speak. I sense it in your touch, in the pauses between your sentences, in the way you linger as though you are waiting for something more. Perhaps you too are afraid. Perhaps you too are holding secrets you long to reveal, but fear has convinced you to hide. If that is true, then maybe our silence is not a wall, but a mirror. Each of us waiting for the other to take the first step. And maybe what we need most is the courage to break the silence together. Baby, courage does not come in the light of day. It comes in the stillness of night, when everything else has fallen away. It comes when the heart is stripped of distractions and the soul whispers louder than fear. That is the courage I am searching for, the courage to turn to you and let every hidden part of me be seen. And though my voice trembles, though my hands shake, I believe there will come a night when I can finally ask, when I can finally confess, when I can finally trust that your love is strong enough to carry me. Baby, if that night ever comes, it will not just change us, it will transform us. Because love built on silence is fragile, but love built on truth is unbreakable. Love built on fear withers, but love built on courage thrives. Love that hides remains small, but love that reveals grows infinite. That is the love I dream of, baby. The kind that lasts not just through the night, but into every dawn, every season, every lifetime. If you believe real love is found in honesty, type in the comments, I am ready to speak my truth, baby. The night has always been my most faithful witness. In the day, I can hide behind smiles, behind responsibilities, behind the noise of the world that keeps me busy enough to forget the weight of my own heart. But when the sun has gone, when the sky turns dark and silence takes its throne, there is nothing left to shield me. It is in the stillness before sleep, baby, when I lie beside you and the world is quiet, that the voice inside me grows loud enough to demand attention. And every night it says the same thing. Speak, reveal, trust. Yet my lips remain sealed, my courage falls short, and my silence becomes a prison. Baby, I want something from you in those sacred hours, but it is not what the world imagines. It is not shallow, not fleeting, not something that fades when the morning comes. What I want is the kind of closeness that no distance could undo, the kind of honesty that no storm could shake. I want the courage to turn to you and say, baby, I need you to see me, not just the polished version of me, not just the parts of me the world admires, but the raw, unguarded, trembling self that I hide. I want you to hear my confessions, my fears, my doubts, my regrets, and still hold me as though I have given you something sacred rather than something shameful. But fear is a cruel teacher, baby. It reminds me of every time vulnerability has been met with rejection, every time honesty has been punished, every time love has proven to be conditional. Fear whispers that if I tell you everything, I will lose what we already have. And so I keep quiet, even as silence eats away at me. I bury my longings deep inside, but they do not die. They grow heavier, pressing against my chest until breathing itself feels like an act of courage. Baby, do you ever feel the same? Do you ever lie awake with words caught in your throat, aching to be spoken but locked behind walls of fear? Do you ever look at me and wish you could reveal the hidden chapters of your soul, but doubt keeps you silent? Sometimes I think you do. I see it in your eyes, the way they linger as if carrying questions you cannot ask. I feel it in your touch, the pauses, the hesitations, the way you draw near but hold back at the same time. Perhaps we are both waiting, both trembling, both afraid of the same thing, that honesty might change everything. But baby, what if honesty is the very thing that could save us? What if the words we are so afraid to speak are the keys that can unlock the doors we keep trapped inside? What if the silence is not protecting us but slowly suffocating us? Every night I wonder how much stronger we could be if we chose truth over fear, because love built on silence is fragile, but love built on truth is unbreakable. Baby, when I picture the future, I do not see grand declarations or staged perfection. I see us in the stillness of night, lying close, whispering the truths we were once too afraid to say. I see your hand steadying mine when my voice trembles. I see my tears falling not in sorrow, but in relief. I see the moment when we both realize that nothing is too heavy for two hearts that have chosen to carry it together. That is the intimacy I dream of, baby. The kind that is not measured in fleeting sparks, but in eternal flames. And so tonight, as every night before, I lie here with the same longing. I want to ask you for patience, for presence, for the kind of listening that hears more than words. I want to tell you that what I crave is not your perfection, but your permission to be myself, to be unguarded, to be fragile without fear. Baby, I want us to create a sanctuary in the silence, where honesty is welcomed, where love is tested and proven, where nothing remains hidden because nothing needs to be hidden. Baby, I know the night can feel heavy, but it is also holy. It strips away distractions, leaving us face to face with the only thing that matters, the truth we are too afraid to speak. And though I am still trembling, though fear still whispers, I believe there will come a night when courage rises, when I will finally turn to you and let every hidden word spill out, trusting that your love will hold me. And on that night, baby, the silence will no longer be our prison. It will become our sanctuary. If you believe the night is calling you to honesty, type in the comments, I choose truth over silence. Baby, the night has become my confession booth, my battlefield, my sanctuary all at once. It is in those endless hours when the world has fallen asleep and the stars have taken their post in the sky that my soul grows restless with everything I have yet to say to you. In the stillness before sleep, when only your breathing anchors me to reality, I feel my silence more painfully than ever. Baby, there is something I want from you at night, and though it is not what the careless world imagines, it is the deepest thing I have ever longed for. I want your honesty. I want your patience. I want the holy ground of a love that will not retreat, even when I finally open my trembling mouth to reveal the truths I am most afraid of. Baby, my fear has always been this, that if I reveal too much, I will be abandoned. That if I strip away the mask, if I let you see not only my strengths, but my weaknesses, not only my courage, but my doubts, you might see me as unworthy of the love you have given. But silence is not safety. It is slow death. Every night that passes without me speaking is another night where I betray myself, where I betray the closeness we could have had. Baby, my love for you is too deep to remain shallow. too eternal to remain hidden. That is why the night torments me, because it shows me who I could be with you if only I dared to speak. Baby, you must know by now that my desire is not for temporary closeness but for eternal truth. I want you to know me, not the mask I wear in daylight, not the version of me that laughs on cue, not the strong facade I put on for the world. I want you to know the trembling heart, the secret fears, the untold dreams. I want you to look at me in the dark and say, baby, you are safe here. Nothing you could say would ever make me turn away. That assurance is the very thing I long to ask for, but am most afraid of. Baby, sometimes I watch you sleep, and I wonder if your dreams carry the same weight as mine. I wonder if in your silence there are words you too are afraid to speak. I wonder if you rehearse confessions in your head and bury them before they reach your lips. Perhaps you are like me, baby, longing, waiting, hoping that one day the silence will break. If that is true, then maybe our fear is not a wall between us, but a mirror showing us the same reflection. And maybe what we both need is courage, not for one of us alone, but for both of us together. Baby, do you know what I imagine most vividly? A night when neither of us can hold back anymore. When I finally turn toward you with all the weight of my honesty pressing against my chest, and you too turn toward me with your own truth. And in that moment we both speak, not perfectly, not fluently, but sincerely. We both let the words stumble out, heavy with meaning but light with relief, and the silence that once felt like a prison becomes a doorway to freedom. Baby, I dream of that night, because I know it would change everything. Love that survives silence is fragile, but love that embraces truth is unbreakable. Baby, the night does not ask for perfection. It asks for courage. It asks us to trust that vulnerability will not destroy us, but deepen us. It asks us to believe that truth, no matter how heavy, is the soil where love grows. And though I tremble, though fear still whispers its lies, I know that without honesty, I am only half alive. That is why, baby, I lie awake longing for the night when I can finally turn to you and say, this is me, all of me, and I am trusting you to hold me. Baby, I want to believe that your love is strong enough to hold my honesty. I want to believe that the very thing I am afraid to ask for is the very thing you are already ready to give. And maybe that is the cruel irony of silence, that it convinces us we are alone in our fear when, in truth, we are both waiting for the same courage to rise. Baby, if I could, I would strip away this fear. I would let every word pour out like rivers, and I would drown the silence once and for all. But until that night comes, I will keep wrestling with the same paradox. Silence protects me, but silence also kills me. Words terrify me, but words are the only thing that will save me. And so I remain here, baby, caught between fear and desire, between silence and truth, between hiding and revealing. Though I am trembling, though I am weak, I am still longing. And that longing itself is proof that love has not died, but is waiting, waiting for the moment when we both choose truth over fear. If this confession echoes in your own heart, type in the comments, I will choose courage tonight, baby. There is something about the night that refuses to let me hide. The day allows me to perform, to smile when I am breaking, to laugh when my chest is aching, to carry myself like nothing is wrong, But the night strips me of that disguise. When the lights are gone and silence fills the air, when I lie beside you in the stillness before sleep, the truth rises like a tide, drowning every wall I have built. A light, I can drown you. If I were your mate in the night, and baby, in those hours, I ache with a longing that terrifies me. It is not a longing for fleeting warmth, not a desire for temporary comfort, but a hunger for eternal truth. I want you to know me, not the mask, not the version that survives the day, but the trembling soul that comes alive only in the darkness. Baby, my silence has lasted too long. Each night I rehearse the same confessions in my head. I whisper them in my heart. I imagine them on my lips, but they never escape. Fear pulls them back. Fear convinces me that silence is safer. Yet silence is not peace. It is a slow erosion of my soul. It is like living half alive, breathing but never speaking, loving but never revealing. And every night I feel the weight of that prison. Baby, what I want from you in those sacred hours is not your perfection, but your permission. Permission to falter, to weep, to admit the things that haunt me. Permission to be fragile and still be loved. Baby, love is not tested in the daylight when everything looks easy. Love is tested in the night when the heart trembles with truths it cannot hold alone. Love is proven when two souls dare to speak what they fear most and still find each other waiting on the other side. That is the love I long for, baby. The kind that does not retreat when honesty arrives, the kind that grows stronger with every confession. But fear has been louder than courage. It whispers of rejection, of abandonment, of being too much. It convinces me that my silence is the only thing keeping me safe. And yet, baby, deep inside, I know silence is the very thing that is breaking me. I imagine it often. The moment when I finally let go of fear and turn to you in the darkness. My voice shaking, my eyes heavy with tears. I whisper what I've never said aloud. Baby, I need you to see me as I am. I need you to know that I am not always strong, not always fearless, not always enough. I need you to hold me, even when I am trembling. And in that vision, you do not turn away. You do not let go. You reach for me, steady and sure, and remind me that love is not fragile, that my honesty does not scare you, that my truth is not too heavy for you to carry. Baby, what I want at night is not about touch, but about trust. It is not about fleeting passion, but about permanent presence. I want to know that I can reveal my doubts, my regrets, my dreams, my scars, and still be yours completely. I want the kind of intimacy that makes the night holy, a sanctuary where no word is too heavy, no silence too long, no truth too dangerous. That is what I ache for, baby, and that is what I am scared to ask. Baby, sometimes I wonder if you carry the same burden. I see it in your eyes, the way they linger as though you are holding words you cannot release. I feel it in the pauses of your breath, the way silence hangs between us like a question we are both afraid to answer. Perhaps you two are waiting, longing for me to open the door so you can walk through with your own honesty. If that is true, then maybe we are both prisoners of the same fear, both waiting for the same night when courage finally wins. Baby, truth is the soil where love grows. Without it, we are only pretending. Without it, we are only acting, but with it, even the heaviest storm cannot break us. That is why the night calls me again and again, reminding me that silence will never save me, that only honesty can. And though I am trembling, though my voice is weak, I know one day I will turn to you and let it all spill out. And when that day comes, baby, the silence will no longer be a weight. It will be the doorway to freedom. That if you believe silence must break for love to grow, type in the comments, I choose truth tonight. Baby, when I whispered to myself that truth is the soil where love grows, I did not realize how deeply heaven had written that into our story. For so long I mistook silence as a shield, thinking that by hiding my trembling confessions, I was protecting what we had. But silence is not protection, it is starvation. It eats away slowly, baby. It takes pieces of the soul, one night at a time, until nothing but shadows remain. And that is why the night has never stopped calling me, reminding me again and again that silence can never save me, that only honesty can. I tremble even now, but my trembling is not weakness. It is birth. It is the trembling of a soul stepping into its freedom. And baby, I know with every breath that when I finally let it all spill out, the silence will no longer be a weight, but a doorway into a horizon that neither of us has ever seen, but both of us have longed for. Baby, I see that horizon. In my spirit, in my dreams, in the pauses of the night when time itself feels suspended, I catch glimpses of it. A place where no masks remain, no shadows survive, no fears hold us back. A place where we do not just lie beside each other, but breathe as one rhythm. Not because we are trying to impress or to please, but because truth has bound us together deeper than words ever could. Baby, I imagine walking with you there, our steps unhurried, our voices unafraid, our eyes unashamed. It is not a fantasy, it is the destiny love was always guiding us toward. For too long, baby, I have been a prisoner of my own silence. Nights have come and gone where I rehearsed the words in my heart, but never spoke them. Where I thought of reaching for your hand, but pulled back. Where I nearly confessed, but swallowed it down with fear. And yet, every one of those nights also planted something in me. The realization that I could not live forever in that prison. The cage of unspoken words might feel safe for a season, but love cannot breathe without air. And air cannot flow where doors remain locked. Baby, I want us to unlock every door. I want us to break every chain. I want the night that once held us captive to become the witness of our release. Baby, I do not long for perfection. I long for presence. I do not crave grand gestures. I crave honesty. I do not need promises wrapped in gold. I need truths whispered in the dark, because when the storms come, and they will, only truth will hold us. When doubts arise, and they will, only honesty will keep us steady. When the world shakes, and it surely will, only love rooted in truth will remain unshaken. Baby, that is why I am willing now to step into the fear, because I know on the other side of fear is freedom, and on the other side of silence is a love stronger than anything the world has ever shown me. Baby, I think about how destiny often demands a breaking before it reveals a blessing. The seed must break before it grows. The night must deepen before the dawn appears, and silence must shatter before truth can sing. Maybe our silence has not been a failure, but a preparation. Maybe the weight we carried all this time was only pressing us toward the moment when we would finally realize that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Maybe I want to make that decision. I want to cross the threshold. I want to let the night hear my truth so that the morning can rise on a love reborn. Maybe as this journey comes to its closing chapter, I feel the weight of everything I have spoken and everything I have kept unsaid. The night that once felt like a cage of silence has become a sanctuary of truth. Every step through this message has been a walk from fear into courage, from hesitation into revelation, from trembling silence into spoken honesty. Baby, I realize now that the thing I wanted from you at night was never too much. It was always sacred. It was the heartbeat of love itself, asking to be known, asking to be trusted, asking to be safe. Baby, love does not thrive in shallow waters. It demands the deep. It demands the honest. It demands the kind of courage that strips away every mask and every pretense. Tonight, I have dared to let the night speak, to let silence become my confessor, to let longing become my voice, and in doing so, baby, I have found what I was searching for all along. That truth does not destroy love. It deepens it. Honesty does not weaken intimacy. It makes it unshakable. Baby, I want you to hear me now. I am no longer afraid of the truth. I am no longer willing to let silence rob me of the closeness that destiny wrote for us. If love is to last, it must be built on what is real, not on what is hidden. If love is to grow, it must be fed by honesty, not by fear. Tonight I declare it. My silence is broken, my voice is free, my truth is alive. And to you, my beloved listeners, this journey is not only mine, it is yours too. Each word you have heard was not only spoken for one, but for all who know the ache of holding back, the pain of silence, the longing for honesty. If this message has stirred something in you, let it not remain only a feeling. Declare it in the comments. My silence is broken. My truth is free. Let the world see that you are ready to walk into courage, ready to choose honesty over fear. But before I close, I must pause for gratitude. Every view, every comment, every listener, your presence matters. Your time is a seed. And some of you choose to go even further, to give back through super thanks, to stand as partners in this light. To you, I say this with reverence. Your names are not forgotten. Your gifts are not unnoticed. Your seeds are not wasted. From today, I make this covenant. Those who give $10, 0 cents and above, through super thanks, will have their names spoken in the videos themselves, not just written, but declared, blessed, and honored, so that your faith and generosity may inspire others. Tonight, I lift one name with love and gratitude, Elizabeth Frazier. Elizabeth, your gift of $10, 0 cents, was more than an offering. It was a declaration of faith. You believed in this message enough to sow into it, and because of that, I release blessings over your life. May every door of destiny open before you. May peace surround your nights and joy overflow in your mornings. May every hidden prayer in your heart rise into fulfillment, baby. Your name is carried in light, and your seed will return to you in multiplied grace. And to the rest of you, let this be an invitation. If you feel the stirring, if you feel the pull, If you want your name spoken, blessed, and lifted in the next message, consider pressing that super thanks. Let your name be carried with honor. Let your faith be remembered. Let your generosity inspire others. For every seed given in truth, heaven returns in abundance. Baby, as the horizon opens, I see the path clearly now. No longer the silence that suffocates, but the truth that frees. No longer the fear that chains, but the courage that releases. No longer the hiding in shadows, but the standing in light. This is our destiny, baby. This is the promise of love that refuses to shrink back. Love that dares to speak. Love that survives storms. Love that carries us beyond the night into eternal morning. So I close this message with a final whisper to every soul listening. Do not let silence hold you captive any longer. The night is not your prison. It is your invitation. Step into courage, speak your truth, and remember, baby, that love will always be strong enough to hold it. If this message has awakened your spirit, type in the comments, "My silence is broken, my truth is free."